Hey guys, today we will look into a topic that is recently affecting the news. The Hamas attack on Israel, which has had a lot on the news. This area of land known as the Gaza Strip is where they launched their attack from, and it has 2.3 million people live in that small area. So one of the militant groups that have taken over the area at one point is the ones that control it. So as we know, a week ago, exactly a week ago, but they launched an invasion of Israel, which I think looked something like that. Then Israel counter-offensive happened, and all that's been happening recently was strikes by both sides on each side, which isn't the best, with stuff just collapsing. Loads of people, casualties at 5,000 so far. It's not really the nicest thing that happened, but with there being 2.3 million people and loads of people live in Israel, there's going to be lots more casualties to come, sadly. And let's see what's actually going on. As we know, Israel's preparing an invasion of here. That would take a while due to population density and a lot of urban fighting, but I think they want everybody to evacuate in like a quick amount of time, which isn't enough for anybody to evacuate. In Egypt, I don't think wants them to flee into the Sinai Peninsula. And then we have Lebanon with Hezbollah trying to attack Israel in the north, but not going to at this point, but could, which would be a big problem. And chances are there's backing from Iran. There might be and there might not. Nobody knows for sure. Just go ahead and say there might be. And then relations were starting to improve between Saudi Arabia and Israel, but I don't think that's going to continue due to the situation in the current world. And let's see what's going on. So, the situation has been having a lot of stuff. The U.S. has called on Israel to respect the laws of war. A lot of stuff is happening here. What did Syria say? Let's look. The resistance has taken into account all possible scenarios in this war. And that's Lebanon. We confirm our readiness to act against Israel. And you can see, as you guys can see, those are bombs. One, I guess, depends on who sends those, what that is, and then those are Israeli tanks. That's an attack, I guess. Wait, is that occupied? Question mark. That is blue. That's Israel taking it over. Okay, as we can see, 15 hospitals in Gaza Strip were damaged, which is bad. But yeah. And then over here, we can see more stuff about Palestine, like 2 bullet wounds during confrontation in northeast Hebron. I think that might be in the Gaza. Now let's see what their statement is here. Israel Army says siren and wherever that city is. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I can't. Let's see what this is. Oh, that's about an emergency and so on. We can see where fighting is happening. We can see where, I guess that's some kind of artillery. And we can see where planes are. And we can see that aid is coming from Egypt, which is a good thing. And what's Jordan saying? Okay. We warn Israel against displacing Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. Well, that's to be expected. And Turkey isn't saying anything, it seems. But I think Turkey is, as you can see here, warned Israel and its backers to stop attacks on Gaza immediately, or it'll be too late in the next few hours. And here it says displacement of Gaza requires international support, and this is where Cairo to discuss developments in the situation in Gaza. And let's go to news about this. That's live. This is is like live news. And this is going to the most recent. But as UN says, Gaza's shelter is not safe. Water running out, which makes sense because you need water. Protesters rally across the world in support of Palestinians, and there's also people in support of Israel, I guess. Humanitarian situation for people in Gaza is precipitating, which I guess means bad. Families of Israeli captives rally for return of loved ones, which makes sense. London streets filled by pro-Palestinian demonstrators. This is also news. Killed Palestinians brought to Al-Shifa from Camp Surgeon. Okay. 15 hospitals damaged. That's bad. Huge rally in London with solidarity with Palestinians. And impossible choices for pregnant people, I guess. UN warns of new incident of mass ethnic cleansing, which that could happen, that might not. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully. No such thing as a humanitarian corridor without a ceasefire. That makes sense because it's safe to get out. But yeah. 2 Palestinians injured in occupied West Bank as tensions mount. Well, Biden says U.S. working to create conditions for aid flow. I don't know what aid is because we're not reading through it, but aid could mean different things. South Africa pledges solidarity with Palestine. Algeria, but I think that's what this news is called, is news from Qatar. So yeah. Hezbollah claims responsibility for attack on Israel positions. Hamas chief accuses Israel of war crimes. Well, both sides probably are committing war crimes, the sad part. Missiles fired at Israeli army posts from Lebanon and Gaza. Ice cream trucks up to works. Jordan field hospitals out of service due to Israeli attacks. Verifies images of Israeli forces with white phosphorus, whatever that is, but I think it's something that you're not supposed to use. And families gather at Rafah border crossing. I think that's in Egypt. Delivery of aid to Gaza must happen, World Health Organization. U.S. authorizes departure of non-emergency personnel from Jerusalem embassy. Israeli air raid kills 9 captives. Israel gives Red Crescent until 4 p.m. to evacuate. That's not even a lot of time. But what time is it in Israel? Update on fighting at Gaza-Israel border, which we all know that's been happening. It may be a bit further down. Saudi FM decries civilian casualties after meeting Blinken. And UN says the shelters in Gaza are not safe anymore. And U.S. Embassy in Bahrain urges citizens to avoid areas due to protest. As we know, it looks like, if we look at a map, that while there's support from Lebanon and Iran for them, and then it looks like Turkey is, I wouldn't know if they're supporting, but their belief in independence of both sides would stop this conflict is one thing. And then let's get a lighter gray thread for Egypt, as they're sending aid supply in. And let's just say all of these nations. I believe Syria would be pro-Palestine just because, and Iraq would just be there. Some nations, I'm not going to say what side they support, as they could support both. You know, Azerbaijan is like an outlier who, for some reason, supports Israel. We're just focused on the Middle East, as we know Russia. I think Turkey supports the other side, but yeah. But like all the Middle East would support the red team, so yeah. I know the West Bank definitely does, because it has to support basically its own country. But like 2 countries in Israel probably might solve problems, but would it really? Because basically Palestine functions as a country, despite most countries in the West not supporting their independence, And as we know, they occupy the Golan Heights. But Israel could, I would say, beat Lebanon, Hezbollah, if they did invade, just because, yeah. Let's say the Israeli forces start a ground invasion. Their struggles would be the land and train. That's not really good for invading, as a city-urban fighting takes longer than rural fighting. But if the West Bank joined, this is a very unstable region. They would be able to probably do this and that, but then Israel would be back. They probably wouldn't take the capital that Israel probably shouldn't use as its capital, but yeah. And as we can see, they might invade from the south if they did join. But also keep in mind, parts of this region are already under Israel control. And this could happen. But what if Lebanon joined under Hezbollah? Could they stop Lebanon? Yeah. Well, they do have hundreds. They also do have 300,000 troops ready. Don't know if Lebanon would be able to have that much. But I'm just going into what if different nations joined. Of course, I'm doing this as a situation as if they all invaded at the same time. Well, no, if they started invading now. But, I think Iran would be sending support at this point. It may even join if they feel like it. And so, I would say at this point, they fall over. And I would say, worst case scenario, they officially take Palestine, the West Bank, and Gaza over. But honestly, I doubt it. I just do. And then Lebanon might be forced to give over lands. These would just become occupation zones more likely than an annexation. Although they could annex it if they wanted to. But as you can see, Israel probably will have the upper hand as they have good technology and a stronger military and more people than Palestine. And that's pretty much all for today's scenario. Please like and subscribe. If you have a different opinion, please let me know your opinion. That's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out. But not until you subscribe, because we have 140 subscribers left for our goal, and tomorrow we have the subscriber special. Bye, guys!